And when I say strengths, I don't mean your skills, your experience, your career thus far. When I talk about strengths, I'm talking about your natural behavioral strengths that underpin your success and happiness at work. Welcome to the Love Your Work Life podcast, where you will get encouragement, strategies, all the things you need to love your work life. This is about transformational, strength-based coaching for career, for leadership, for life. I'm your host, Elissa Shuck. Let's get started. So who is this for? Well, this is for anyone who wants to feel good at work again. And I don't know if you're early career, mid-career, late career. I'm not sure what's going on with you, but what I can tell you is that if you're here, you are not feeling good at work anymore. And I'm going to help you figure out why you're not feeling good. And by the end of the week, you are going to have a plan and you're going to know exactly what to do so that you can feel good again. And so that you can pivot or reset to something that is aligned with you. These are the three things that we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about your strengths, because your strengths are your clues. And when I say strengths, I don't mean your skills, your experience, your career thus far. When I talk about strengths, I'm talking about your natural behavioral strengths that underpin your success and happiness at work. And I'd probably even lean a little bit more into happiness, because the deal is that even if you're in an area that isn't in a strength zone, and we'll get into that a little bit more, you could kind of force yourself into success. You can kind of grit and willpower and determination your way into success, but it's not going to feel great. It's going to feel labored. It's going to feel like striving. And your strengths are these clues that are going to help you figure out what's next. And the second part of Create Your Breakthrough is the story in your stress. Now, your stress is telling you something. There is a story in there that is going to be the aha moment for you. It's going to be the, oh my gosh, yes, this is exactly what's happening. And when you figure out the clues that are evident in your strengths and the story in your stress, now you can align to your design. And that'll be the third component of what we're going to talk about today. There is nothing about you that you have to fix in order to figure out what's next for you, in order to get out of a job that feels horrible and into a new role, a new direction that feels amazing. And the clues are right here in your strengths. It's so important to identify your behavioral strengths, what makes you tick as a person. And when you align yourself to what makes you tick as a person in your work life, that's where the enjoyment comes from. That's where the engagement comes from. That's where you are doing a job that feels so comfortable that you lose time, that you get into a flow state. Think of it as what feels most natural to you if you didn't have to do anything but be aligned with your strengths. That's the key. These strengths are not pigeonholing you into a specific role or job function. We're creating a breakthrough that helps you see possibilities, and your strengths are the clue to what those possibilities might be. So, what do I mean by the story in your stress? So, your second pass at behaviors is to determine where you are in terms of what your role is requiring of you, what you're having to do on a day-to-day basis that is outside of your strength zone. Now, let's be real. We're all going to have to adapt. We're all going to have to sometimes step out of our comfort zone, step out of our strength zone in order to get something done. I get that. But the thing that you want to clarify for yourself is, are you out of your strength zone on a regular basis? If you're out of your strength zones and you have been for quite a while, guess what, my friends? You're not happy. You are not satisfied at work. There will be concern on whether or not you're getting the rewards and the meaning and the fulfillment out of your job. And the other thing that is especially concerning is energy drain. So instead of being this sort of high energy, loving work, being able to manage a lot, if you find yourself running out of energy way earlier in the day than is normal, then there's a good chance that this has been going on a long time. It's having its consequences on you physically and mentally. Kinetic energy is part physical, part mental, part emotional. So when you feel that energy drain, it can be all in your head. You can't think anymore. You're running out of steam physically and emotionally, you're exhausted. Your well-being is taking a hit. You may not have connected those dots before, that the reason you are feeling low satisfaction and drained in those ways is because your job has you behaving in ways that are counter to your strengths, that are counter to what makes you tick as a person. It's so validating to know, oh my gosh, there's nothing wrong with me. It's just that my job doesn't have me in my strength zones. Oh, one more thing. I didn't mention this. Your logic, the way you make decisions. If you are a very intuitive decision maker, but someone's forcing you to prove yourself with facts, with data, that's going to be really uncomfortable as well. Another area of energy drain. Likewise, if you're someone who really likes facts and figures and data, and you're being pushed to make decisions on the fly and go with your gut, equally uncomfortable and a component of energy drain. So you've got to get back to your strength zones. You've got to really allow yourself to be who you are. You want to be a what you see is what you get person. And the beauty of this is that knowing your strengths isn't limiting at all. It actually gives you options. And now you can be looking at your potential, your options through the lens of your strengths. Does this thing fit me? The third part of creating your breakthrough is what I call align to your design. And what do I mean by that? Well, I'm going to have you do some self coaching. Ask some questions. Find those alignments through asking great questions and then expecting an answer from yourself. So the first one is, what job functions or objectives, responsibilities pertaining to your job do you find the most enjoyable? That's where the clues are. The most enjoyable things are aligned to your strengths. So you're kind of looking at those two things together. What do you find enjoyable? How do those relate to your traits? What traits are in play when you are enjoying what you're doing? What strengths are naturally aligned to work and responsibilities you enjoy? Figuring out what you enjoy is a valid thing to allow yourself. Most people go into work thinking, well, that's just work. That's just, I don't have to enjoy it because work is work. But there can be and there should be elements of what you do that you enjoy. If you constantly feel attracted to a certain aspect of work, say you procrastinate one area, but you always keep gravitating to the other, It's because you enjoy it, and you enjoy it because it's aligned to your strengths. Start paying close attention. Start being a curious watcher of your own leanings and behaviors and the thoughts and feelings that you're having as you engage in those activities so that you can be giving yourself a clue as okay, what is it that I'm engaging in terms of a strength that aligns to this job function. Next, self-coaching on your stress. This wear and tear, this stress, this energy drain, this low satisfaction create dissatisfaction, disengagement, and it's not sustainable in the long term. So, paying attention to the stress, to what's happening, and then asking yourself, are these pressures self imposed? Are you putting that kind of pressure on yourself? Maybe you've got some people pleasing things and some perfectionistic things. How do I know that? Yes, those are things I have worked through in my career. Those are self imposed pressures. Are the pressures temporary? Good to know. If this is just picking up the pace because this project is nearing a deadline, and once you have met that deadline, you can go back to your more casual, methodical pace, wonderful. But if your casual, methodical pace is being disrupted daily because you're surrounded by chaos and urgency, not sustainable in the long term. So the next question to ask yourself is what day-to-day job functions create the most friction and therefore wear and tear, which we know wear and tear is energy drain, stress, burnout, and just not feeling satisfied at work anymore. And then lastly, when it comes to achieving alignment, what we're talking about here is having awareness about what you don't want creates clarity about what you do want. That's why, while I love positive thinking, I don't think positive thinking is about ignoring what isn't working, what you don't want, because it's like two sides of the same coin, or it's like the yin yang symbol. You have the light and the dark, and they coexist. And by allowing yourself to say, "Hey, I don't want to do this anymore," you give yourself space to answer the question, what do I want to do? You actually send a message out there. By knowing what you don't want, there's a message out there that there is something else for you, that there is something that you do want. So having that kind of clarity makes all the sense in the world. Now, I'm not saying indulge in it and start hating life and feeling awful, but just be that objective, observant, curious presence, if you will, about yourself, and think about, I don't want to do this anymore. How freeing is that? Just to give yourself the space to make that statement. I don't want to do this anymore. Then you're going to create alignment. You're going to give attention and intention around your strengths so that you open up space to consider options. But if you're feeling stuck behind a wall or in this deep fog that you're or quicksand that you're trying to struggle to get out of, then just this space to consider there might actually be options for me is a wonderful place to be. The book, The Map of Consciousness Explained by David Hawkins. One of the best things, one of the biggest aha moments in this book was that neutral is where we get our power back. We are actually drained of mental and physical strength when we are indulging in negative emotions. Negative emotions have an energy about them that drains us. So when you're feeling anxious or angry or frustrated or burned out, When you're experiencing those emotions, it's no wonder it causes energy drain because it physically does. There are tests that show that you can't hold something up, that it actually physically weakens you. And then on the opposite side of that, we have the positive emotions like hope and joy and happiness. Those are the things that strengthen us. But here's the best thing. You don't have to have hope, joy, and everything be rainbows and butterflies to get your power back. Neutral. Neutral is where you start to see options. Neutral is where you get your power back. And that's what I want you to think about when you're thinking about achieving alignment. You're not trying to figure out where you go from here or how you get there. We'll get to that. All you're doing right now is spending some attention and intention around your strengths to open up space to that there might actually be options for you to kind of get to neutral. So you know what you don't want, and now you've created some space for some options, and you're starting to more clearly define what you do want. And again, I'm not saying a job title. I'm saying what behaviors do you want to be exercising? Do you want to be amplifying on a daily basis? I want to have freedom. I want to be able to dive into details. I want to be in front of a group and share my knowledge. I want to just sit quietly in a meeting and observe everybody and take it all in. You see how I've just kind of leveraged those different behaviors? That's the want that I want you to be thinking about. Not the how, not the what, but the want. I love this quote from Bruce Lee. Knowing is not enough, we must apply. Willing is not enough, we must do. We can keep consuming knowledge. We can have some willingness to do it, but we must do. We must engage. You must be willing to commit to yourself that you're going to take this deeper, that you're going to ask yourself these great questions, that you're going to take yourself seriously. That's kind of what this is. You're worth it. You're worth taking yourself seriously to figure out what you want, to acknowledge your strengths and whether or not you're being given the opportunity to operate in those strengths. So I'm going to leave you with this. Can you commit to identifying your natural behavioral workplace strengths? Forget about what you know how to do. This is about how you show up. What feels natural to you? How do you want to show up? What behaviors do you want to be in play on a daily basis? And then how would activating and applying your strengths on a daily basis affect your career happiness? How would that change things for you? How would that change what's going on during the workday, before the workday, after the workday, Sunday nights, Sunday scaries? My friend, it's probably coming from the fact that you're participating, you're in zones that are not aligned to what makes you tick as a person. Such an important thing to acknowledge. All right, my friends, I'll talk to you again soon. If you like listening to this podcast, I invite you to visit the Love Your Work Life website at elissashuck-careercoach.com. On the site, you're going to find free resources and information about all of my coaching programs, everything you need to land a great job, advance your career, and lead and build an awesome team. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to this podcast, and don't forget to follow me on LinkedIn.